Okay, finally, I'm going to talk about the drama, Whose Side You're On, and what that says about you. I think one thing this film does brilliantly is sorts its audience, it categorizes them, and it does it on purpose. By the end of the drama, most people watching fall into one of three camps. You're either on Emma's side, on Charlie's side, or somewhere in the middle rooting for Rachel and her husband. They're the couple who had their own secrets, but somehow feel like the most functional people in the room. And I'm going to tell you what I think this film is saying about each of those positions, because none of them are neutral. If you've left this film primarily feeling for Emma, understanding her and forgiving her, maybe even feeling like Charlie should have just accepted her and moved on, the film has a diagnosis for you, and it's not a bad one necessarily, but it's specific. You are someone who believes that context is everything, that circumstances, environment, upbringing, the things that happened to us before we're old enough to choose, carry real moral weight. Emma had no parents. She was isolated and bullied at a school that was not built for her. She was 15 with access to a rifle and completely alone with her worst thoughts. So she didn't go through with it. She spent 15 years carrying it, and you've decided that that counts. What the drama thinks about you is that you understand nuance. You clearly apply it, but the film is also gently asking, do you apply it consistently? And I asked that because at first I was on Emma's side, but then I thought to myself, if a man had made that confession, would I be on his side? I genuinely believe that most of us would immediately say, you should leave. I already said if it was the roles were reversed, I would have asked Emma to leave. And the film knows that. Charlie even says it when he asks his colleague that question. The gender reversal is intentional. The film is asking if your empathy for Emma is really about context, or whether it's the fact that Zendaya played the character. If you spent most of the film feeling that Charlie was right, that this was a deal breaker and that some things cannot be forgiven regardless of the circumstance, and that he was a victim here, then the film has a different diagnosis for you. And it makes its case quietly but precisely. Charlie's a man who said he wanted honesty. He created the conditions for that confession. He chose to stay, and then he punished Emma for existing. He kissed someone else, nearly destroyed everything, then he framed his own moral collapse as Emma's fault. He is not the clean party he believes himself to be. The film watches him dismantle his own righteousness in real time. What the film thinks about you is that you have strong moral convictions, possibly very strong ones, but you may also be someone who holds other people to standards you haven't applied to yourself. Charlie is the most self-deceiving character in this film, and if you're entirely on his side, it might be worth asking why his particular kind of feeling feels more forgivable than Emma's to you. If you're on Rachel and Mike's side, this one is a bit more interesting. It's interesting because Rachel and Mike are the most objectively flawed people at that table. One used their partner as a human shield. The other has their own buried secret that the film doesn't fully explore. And yet, they're the couple still standing at the end. What the film thinks about you is that you're a pragmatist. You believe relationships are not about moral purity. They're about choosing someone and doing the work. You're not naive about people either. You've accepted that love is not necessarily something you enter with clean hands. You're the person who reads terms and conditions and says, fine, I'm still in. Ultimately, what the drama is saying is not comfortable. It's saying that the side you're on reveals less about the character, but more about what you believe love is for. Is love a moral contract where certain revelations void the agreement? Is it a choice you make regardless of what you find out? Or is it just a story we tell ourselves about the person we've already decided to keep? Emma loves Charlie, that much was clear. But whether Charlie loves Emma, whether he really loves her, and not just a version of how he thought he knew, that's the question that the film leaves open. And I believe he does that on purpose. That's all from me. I'll see you next week. Bye.